up this match. It's Casey versus Hodel, and we'll get to Casey in just a second, but Hodel might not be a player you have heard of. It's a player I haven't heard of either, and it's my job to know these things. He is actually one of the challengers that's come through that process from Russia, and it's his first HCT appearance here, so it's the first time we've seen him on this stage, so to speak, and he does enjoy his odd and even specific decks, as we can see with this odd paladin.
Yeah, he has gone all in on the odd and even, with odd paladin, odd rogue, even shaman, and odd and even hunter he's got there.
I was going to say, where's the even hunter, Derek?
It has both odd and even cards because he loves them so much.
Okay, well, for his first appearance as a challenger, he's actually doing pretty well as a 3-0 so
Very
far
impressive.
in the Swiss. It's going to be a total of 7 rounds over the course of the 2 days we have here for the European playoffs. And his opponent, though, playing maybe more familiar with Casey from Team Complexity, you know, has had a fantastic year, I would say, for Casey. I would say he finally got there in terms of overall performance.
Yeah, I think if it hadn't been for obviously the peaks for both Hunter Ace and Saiyan, where they had some very nice win streaks in tournaments, I would say Casey has had the best year at all. He's had the most like stable, consistent. Yeah. Exactly. He's had so many top 16s, the most top 16ingest player in this year's HCT system, as well as one of the highest win rate players over the entire HCT year as well. So getting a 3-0 start here in the Swiss, I'm really, really happy for the guy.
Just going to add another one to it as well, by the looks of things. He's been in top 8 of playoffs before as well.
Yes.
So, you know, he has experience in getting far throughout these Swiss brackets. But let's go into this game, as I mentioned. It's game number 3, all even at 1-1. So Hodel will be happy. The score is even, just as he'll be happy as if it'll be odd. So Casey on the even Warlock and Hodel on the odd Paladin. Is this matchup still as hard as people think it is for the odd Paladin due to cards like we just saw in the form of Defile?
I would say, arguably, it is more so difficult than it was before, as their real big tool in Level Up, obviously, was just recently nerfed down to 6 mana, and I'm sure Hodel is just as happy for it to be a 6 mana even cost card as it is on a 5 mana odd cost card. He unfortunately cannot use it in this particular deck, and that just means that the ability to put pressure on against the even Warlock is just so low. They can just leave up so many minions and not really have much fear at all.
Right, and there is something that is kind of strange about the way Level Up was nerfed and what the impact it had on the odd deck. Is these two guys you see in the hand now, Frostwolf, Warlord, and what's strange about it is it kind of dodges the AoE everyone planned for the turn 5 level up. Now you can't just Hellfire a board if there's a Frostwolf, because the Frostwolf probably will just lives and then hits you in the face, normally quite hard. So it does change the way you need to play a little bit, because you always have to be scared of Frostwolf. You can't just like clear the dudes off and then be like, oh, okay, we're fine, level up won't work. It's like, well, if there's still other minions on the board, this Frostwolf can be big, and Warlocks sometimes can struggle with direct removal outside of both spellstones.
It can, I absolutely agree with you, but I think for it to be really on a power level with Level Up, it would have to be a Frostwolf Warlord with charge, because that was the real fear of Level Up. It wasn't necessarily the buff, it was the fact that when you played it, it did like 12 damage a lot of the time, just straight up, which the Warlock could not afford to take. Whereas now, if Frostwolf Warlord were to be played, it's bad, but answers can be found. They have the time to respond. Right,
and at the core of it, a testament to just Odd Paladin itself. It's still being played when one of its best cards was nerfed, so that's all you really need to know. And looking at the hands now, I mentioned the 2 Warlords, but Hodel just has Leroy and a Blessing of Might, which is a combination you always have to be afraid of as the you know, the player versus the Odd Paladin, because you can suddenly just die even from an empty board.
And these cards, even before the Level Up nerf, were the cards you wanted against even Warlock. You wanted to find Blessing of Might, anything that made smaller boards that had high attack values. So like you said, Defile and Hellfire really struggle to get that value to clear the board. And Hodel, unless Casey can do something pretty magnificent right now, he's just going to win.
Yeah, that seems pretty good, but Casey here can just, well, I quite like, it might look a little bit strange, but like double-plated Beetle and Taunt seems fine to me. You can squeeze in the tap as well, so maybe that turn changes just a little bit. He's going to go for the Spellstone just to clear off the 8-7, just a little bit safer overall, but the fact that there's still that play of Beetles and the Sun Fury Protector just is a double whammy of get through multiple taunts, which Odd Paladin now struggles to do a little bit, and gain the armor as well.
Absolutely. Again, a lesson in tapping first. They're picking up the homunculus to deal with that so beautifully. Like you said, that is the only single target removal, really, that even Warlock has access to outside of Spellbreaker, I suppose, which it might be utilizing here.
Your magic.
Okay, so the Spellbreaker to reduce the Warlord is still, you know, a 4/4 though, so it still hits reasonably hard. And with only one taunt open, that's still a lot of damage that could go through. It can actually go through 11 damage through this taunt, and this Witch's Cauldron could just mess with people's minds at this point. This is the inclusion and why it's in the deck. Because of the power level of certain Shaman cards in spots like this when you run out of juice. But look, he's just gaining spells now. Oh.
That's not bad. You stick that on the Warlord.
No, wait.
That's a 6-drop that it'll get when it dies.
If he gets an... Oh, be careful here, Sai. I'm just wondering, if you get another spell that is like Lightning Bolt, he can double Leroy, right? So it re-summons.
Well, no, it summons...
Oh, sorry, one more.
Yeah,
sorry.
It's
Oh,
not
I'm thinking of Ancestral
Spirit.
Spirit.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I told you, it messes with your mind, this Cauldron. It messes with your mind. That Earthshock, though, as you gasped earlier.
Oh!
It's fantastic. Even Paladin!
Again, it's even Paladin now. Sai Hodel is having the absolute time of his life.
He can play Genin on Paladin. It's a dream come true. Oh, my. But this is a great display of why some players are bringing Witch's Cauldron now. Because, look, there's a Lightning Storm, which might not be the strongest against this, but if they go for the low health taunt option I mentioned earlier with the Beetles, you can clear some of that away. And again, you just don't know what's going to come out of this Cauldron. Yeah,
this is the match. Well, I suppose not the matchup, but the situation where Cauldron is good. What happens a lot of the time at the moment is you play against the likes of Odd Rogue or Hunter, and you've played a 3-mana 0/4 on curve, and they just kill it and run away with the ball. Exactly.
Look at this though. Now there's still like at least 2 more spells coming up, and this Lightning Storm's going to get value.
It is indeed. If there was a double high roll, that would be back up to 18, so no lethal, I believe, available.
But most importantly, you can more than likely kill the Doomsayer, right? Well, you can guarantee kill the Doomsayer because they hit for minimum 2 1/1s into the 2/3s, or 2/1s at the time, and then just trade into the Doomsayer.
That looks pretty good to me.
See, all of that, I mean, if that was another card, Sai just wouldn't be in the position. He'd probably just be dead at this point, because Doomsayer would more than likely wipe the board, and then Casey can start dropping more taunts.
I like the hesitation here as well, because if he wants to play Leroy, he should play it first, so that he can Lightning Storm away the...
I don't think you need to quite yet. You've just seen Doomsayer and Sunfury Protector.
But is it just the best thing you can do with your mana, right?
Depends.
Instead he's sacrificing the guys in first. I'm not sure if I necessarily like this line of play, because there's seldom few Shaman spells that I think you would happily proactively spend your mana on. Haunting Visions is one of them, though.
So what this tells me is Sai Hodell's just thinking, I don't need to kill or set up kill this turn per se. I could just take the value because my opponent's just done a bit of a desperation play. Sunfury, double taunt, and a Doomsayer. Normally, if you feel safe, you do one of those things, not both.
Yeah. I can totally see where Sai Hodel is
Darrek's
coming
not happy
from
with
in this play. I think it's too value oriented. I think he just needs to start, just keep the pressure going. Get that damage through to face, because as soon as he lets up on his opponent and gives him the time to make his more powerful plays, that's when things really fall apart for Sai Hodel.
Speaking of powerful players, that Cauldron now looks pretty steady and gets around the freeze effect by, yes, it missed an attack it couldn't make anyway.
I was thinking the same thing. I didn't actually know that interaction.
Yeah, because it could attack, right?
Yeah,
it's frozen, it could have attacked, it can't attack, now it can. Yeah. It's so sick. Because funnily enough, like, freeze isn't turn-based. Attack-based.
Yeah, you have to miss one attack. Yeah.
Okay, well now let's see what other spells Sauda gets to play with. Totemic Smash, that can go face. Totemic might, less so. Nice combination.
Of the totemic powers, the less impressive. And yeah, you can just tell Sai Hodel is clearly, I would imagine, having quite a lot of fun with the Witch's Cauldron here as well, because he is just going all in on finding out whatever those spells are that he gets as the first thing every single time.
I think it's weighing up if he wants to say Visions, but I think...
like, yeah, just go for the Haunting Visions. You might just have lethal.
Yeah. Ooh. Bark or Sound the Bells? Have to be Bark, right? Just better value. Oh wait, it gets reduced. I forgot about that.
Yeah, but you can't do it with the Leroy on the same turn, which is what was tempting me with Sound of Bells as well. He was really close to winning the game on this turn.
This is making the board crazy though, right? Because this Cauldron, even if it draws a silence, well, you just Bless of King something else. And now it's just spreading threats. This is absurd, Eric.
Yeah,
it would have been 2 afterwards, right?
Yeah. I was thinking with the Totemic Smash, I was going to say he was 1 damage off lethal, but I don't think he could play Leroy, Totemic Smash, and Sound the Bells all in the same turn. I think it would have been 1 mana off. But so this is like, I think, a perfectly acceptable way of going about it.
Yeah,
And it still probably leads to
all he has to do now is get through these taunts with what he has. And then Leroy face, and he has Totemic Smash, and he has Lightning Storm, and now the veteran as well. So this looks pretty good to me, though.
Yeah, I think from Cyhodel, I would have maybe gone about it a little bit differently in the later stages of the game, just keeping the pressure a little bit higher. But the basic strategy, I think, was really on point.
Most importantly, he's going to overkill someone a totem. He has got the correct form of lethal. Great job, Cyhodel, on that one. I am impressed.